Hello, AP folks. First of all, very sorry I did not get this up earlier for you guys. Um, but gonna go over Caesar's Gallic Wars here. This is book 5, section 31. Okay, so just gonna give you a translation, talk about some of the grammar here and all that. Um, and also wanted to let you know, I guess this is probably only really applies for John, but the AP test is, as far as I know, going to be an at-home thing that you can take online, and I believe it's only going to be 45 minutes rather than 3 hours, which I think is going to be a good improvement. But also, um, more, I guess, good news. I believe it is only going to cover units 1 through 4, which would include, um, let's see here, Virgil, book 1 and 2, and then Caesar, books 1, let me see here. 4, excuse me, I'm sorry. Yeah, books 1, 4, and 6, if I remember correctly here. Yeah, so basically, we covered all of it by the end of third quarter. So I think what the AP was trying to do was make sure that, with all the time constraints that we've had, as far as being in class, they didn't want to overburden you guys. So just want to make you aware of that. I'll get you more details as I can, but John, just so you know, units 1 through 4, it sounds like, is what they're going to be focusing on. Okay, so here we go. This is book 5, section 31. So consurgitor ex concilio. Consurgitor, they stand up from the council. Okay, now consurgitor literally is, it is stood up. Okay, but this is going to be one of those impersonal constructions that are going to sound better to just translate it actively. So they stand up from the council. Comprehendunt, they grasp, they seize, and then kind of an understood the hands of each other. Okay, and they beseech that they not lead out the thing, the matter, into the highest danger by their disagreement and their obstinacy. Okay? So what you have going on here with the nay clause, okay, it's one of those, your book tells you a volative, subjunctive, and substantive clause of negative purpose, this is probably one of those Wheelock jussive noun clauses, okay, so they are begging them not to do such and such, okay, so that is, I think, what you've got going on here. And then you've got some nice ablatives of probably means here. Dissension and obstinacy. Okay, so that they not lead out the thing by those means. All right, continuing on, this is line 3, and we've got indirect statement here. Okay, so this is following after the orant. All right, this is what's triggering the indirect statement. That the that the thing is easy, whether they remain or they set out, if only they all feel and approve one thing. Okay? So you've got indirect statement there with the SE is your verb, the indirect statement. Rem is your subject of the indirect statement. Okay? And then you've got the maneant and the proficuscanter in the subjunctive. Probably indirect question there. And then you have the C clause. Now you'll notice sentient and probent are both in the subjunctive as well. This is probably because you have it's in indirect statement. You've got a condition in indirect statement, so that's why those have gone into the subjunctive. All right. And then continuing on the indirect statement, because, Caesar likes his indirect statement. Contra, on the other hand, that on the other hand, they perceive no health, nulam salutam, no health in disagreement or in dissension. Okay, so that is the end of that sentence. So you've got the soldiers here come together, and they're trying to tell their leaders, "Hey guys, we need to all be on the same page here." So that's what's going on here. And then line 5, the finishing off that page on page 103, the thing, the race, the matter, the thing, perducator, is extended, is drawn out by disputation, by argument, to the middle of the night. Okay? They've got a note down below in your book that nighttime, never a good time to be having important deliberations. And they tell you that, in Rome, they would never have civil deliberations past sunset. Sometimes in military you have to do that, but civil matters definitely avoided. Okay, and you may remember also in the trial for in Christ's trial, one of the really outrageous things was they had a trial for him at night, which was basically illegal at that time. Sorry, you can probably hear my dog barking in the background. He says hi or something. All right, moving on. So this is page 104, tandem dat kata. So finally, kata, having been incited, gives his hands. Okay, this is just a way of saying kata throws up his hands. Is like, I give up. I can't fight this battle. Okay, so kata, having been incited, gives his hands. The opinion of Sabinus wins or remains. Okay, notice there that nice alliteration there to superat sententia Sabini. Okay, so and Sabinus, Kata and Sabinus were these two legates, these two ambassadors. And they had differing opinions on what to do with this imminent crisis of the Germans coming down, or at least what Ambiorix told them that the Germans were coming down. So Kata yields to Sabinus, and as your book tells you, Kata was more of the junior officer. So if anyone was going to yield, it would make more sense that he yielded. So, all right. Line 8, pronuntiator. It is announced, and then you got indirect statement. It is announced that they will go at first light. Okay, first light, or you could say at dawn. Nice ablative of time. Ituros there is your verb of the indirect statement. You have to understand an esse. Okay, and that's the future for future infinitive for ao. So that they all would go. Okay, so pronuntiator, again, probably a historical present, but it is announced that they will go at first light. Okay. Consumator, so the reliqua pars, the remaining part of the night, is consumed in watchfulness, in watching. Okay, that's where you get the word vigil. Okay, and they have again a note for you on the vigils. The guards were divided up into 4 equal divisions. So first watch, second watch, third watch, fourth watch. Okay. Then you also, line 9, you have a nice partitive genitive with noctis, part of the night. Okay. And then we have a cum clause. Your book tells you while. I like since. I saw some other people that wrote since as well. So the remaining part of the night is consumed, is taken up by watchfulness. Since each soldier was looking around at his own things. Okay? Each soldier was looking around at his own things. What he could carry with himself, what he would be compelled to leave behind, and then probably the ex instrumento, sorry, what from the equipment he would be compelled to leave behind. I'm sorry, guys. What from the equipment of the winter camp he would be compelled to leave behind. Okay, so what you've got going on here, you've got that cum clause, and then you have the 2 quid, posset, quid, cogerator, and those are very nice indirect questions there. Okay, and posset is going to give you the complementary infinitive portare. All right, and then you've got let's see here. Relinquora, I guess you could also potentially consider a complementary infinitive. I think that would work as well. Yeah. All right. So those are nice indirect questions. All right. And now to the last page. This is page 105, line number 12. All things are thought out. Okay, or your book tells you all sorts of reasons are thought out, are devised. Quare, why they should remain not without peril, or why they would remain not without peril. Notice here, this is also one of those impersonal ones. It just would sound kind of weird to say why it would remain not without peril, or why it would be remained not without peril. So you kind of have to understand who's remaining. It's going to be the soldiers. So why they would remain not without peril, and kind of another understood why. The danger would be increased by the weakness of the soldiers and by their watchfulness. Okay, so I think the idea here is after a night of getting ready and lack of sleep, the soldiers are going to be tired, and then they're also going to have, they're going to be running on no sleep, which you guys probably understand being high school students. Okay, so that sentence there, you've got more indirect question, okay, with the maneater, augeater, okay. And then you have a nice rhetorical device we haven't talked about too often, but nec sine periculo. This is a rhetorical device known as litotes, or litotes if you prefer. And litotes is, you kind of have it's basically like a double negative to affirm something in the positive. So not without danger. Danger would be another way of saying like with great danger. Okay, so that's a rhetorical device to be familiar with, litotes. All right, and then this is the final sentence here for our sorry. This is the final sentence here for our translation. At first light, or at dawn, they set out thus from the camp, as those who had been convinced that the plan had been given not by an enemy, but by Ambiorix, a most friendly man. And then this last part, this is kind of telling you how they set out, with a very long marching column. Okay, with a very long column, and with the greatest, or with a very large baggage train. Okay, and looking at this last sentence, there's some kind of fun stuff going on here. So prima luce, obviously ablative of time when. They set out from the camp, lovely ablative of separation. Now, this ut clause here, this is actually not going to be a result clause. All right. What you actually have going on here is you've got a relative clause of characteristic with the quibus. Okay. So they're the type of people who had been persuaded. Okay. And then you have indirect statement that the concilium had been given, not by an enemy, okay, that would be an ablative of agent, but by Ambiorix, another ablative of agent. All right, and then your last few words here, they set off with a very long marching column, and with very large baggage train. Your book tells you ablatives of manner. Okay, so that is section 531. Please let me know if you have any questions about this. Again, I apologize. I know I ramble and I'm kind of slow. So I'm sorry it's not the most scintillating of videos, but hopefully it was somewhat helpful for you. And for tomorrow, if you would please do the next section, which is 532, and please upload. You can take a picture of your work and just upload it on LMS. That would be wunderbar. And again, please just feel free to contact me on that message board or whatever you need to do if you have any questions or anything. Okay? All right. Love you guys. Have a great day.